Okay, so getting back into the political aspect of my channel. If Epstein files are just a hoax, why not release them? Well, it's not a hoax. I mean, Trump's name is mentioned more in the Epstein files than God and Jesus in the Bible. So that makes him a main character. Two, they're world elites and political leaders from around the world, and they don't want to disturb the balance. And three, well, the kind of things they did, they probably wouldn't just put them in prison. They would, probably be more considered like war crimes since it's international. But the other thing is too, going towards corporations and taxes. If our tax money goes to Israel, then why should we pay taxes? I thought taxes were supposed to provide services for Americans, whether you're here legally or not. I mean, like healthcare, infrastructure, education, childcare, stuff like that. Living wages. So if I'm 1099, so I pay 15.5%. So if I pay 15.5%, why should it go to Israel? I don't want to go in to pay for their stuff. I want to pay for my stuff, my neighbor's stuff, my gardener's stuff. I don't care if he's here legally or not. He does a good job. He deserves to have a few days off if he gets sick and not have to be in debt for it. In fact, one of the things that gets me really hot to think about, my mom worked in real estate. Her technically business partner was really well to do. I want to say $250, $500 million. Has a massive heart attack. Lose everything almost overnight. He's not even worth 7 figures anymore. Just because of what happened. Now, he has cancer. Can't get insured because of the heart attack. Whatever he has left is going towards having to pay medical bills and insurance costs because of pre-existing condition. Tell me that's not fair. Tell me that, yeah, I earned it, but because you have money, you can take care of yourself, when the guy that has this much money and assets in a corporation, well, not even a corporation, I don't know if it's privately held or what, but you lose everything, just something, one night, a heart attack, and it's crazy. Why is that allowed? Why are we allowed to exploit people? Yes, there's capitalism, but it's not meant to be exploitive. It's consumer-based. And I understand that people believe you shouldn't get something for nothing. Well, if that's the case, if you're a Christian, you should sit down and hold on to your ass, because Jesus was a socialist, and that's why he was able to feed people, because he just gave them food. He didn't require anything in return. He taught them. That's free education. He healed people. That's free health care. So that is socialism. And what's even funnier, in my opinion, Jesus appreciated the thank you from that one leper he healed than he ever did any donation from the rich. In fact, there's a parable where the woman in the temple gave 2 coins. He calls her out and says she gives more than you because that's all she has. Tell me I'm wrong. If Jesus wasn't a socialist, why wasn't he charging for health care, for teaching people, for feeding them? Yeah, it wasn't government, but he opposed the government. And the government they had today is very much like it is now. And another thing I should talk about too is if you're a Christian and you follow the Old Testament as well, what they call that, Judeo-Christian, yeah, then maybe you shouldn't charge interest on loans. Forgive loans every 7 years. And yes, if you want slavery, it has to be consensual slavery. You have to buy the person outright and then free them on the 7th year of their contract. You can't just, and you can't just do black people as slaves. It's whoever wants the money, and you have to let it go after 7 years. The Jubilee. So, don't be a hypocrite. If you're going to say, well, we should be a biblical country, then follow the Old Testament and the New Testament as it's written. Don't pick and choose. Don't eat cheeseburgers. Don't eat shellfish. Don't watch porn at all. And don't even look at women in a lustful manner. I see these politicians, I'm not going to call out names, but they're looking at these young things like, oh my. Because Jesus said, when you feel lust in the heart, that's adultery. You can't say you're a Christian and do all this bull crap. Yeah, Jesus will forgive you, but not if you keep doing it over and over again. That's the whole point of being a Christian, is trying to make yourself better. It's not about, well, I can do what I want and then be forgiven for it. That's not how it works. Because eventually, Jesus is going to say, nah, dude, you're on your own. I'm with the Muslims and the Jews on this. Don't charge loans, interest on loans, especially usurperous loan interest. Yeah, you should, put maybe a little interest on it, but not like where it's exploiting people. 2.5 or 3% interest, forgive it after 7 years, still pay off the loan. But, you can't just say you believe one thing from a book and then completely ignore the other. So if you're going to use the Old Testament to condemn sexuality, then don't wear mixed fabric suits. Don't eat shellfish. Don't eat cheeseburgers. Don't hug your wife while she's on her cycle. Stuff like that. If you're going to take it literally and practice it. Just shut up if you're not. Because I don't want to hear any one of you MAGA nationalists saying, well, you're going to go to hell for being gay or trans. Well, if trans is an issue, why did Paul teach the freaking Ethiopian eunuch? That's more about unity than anything any MAGA Christian stands for. Teaching a black man who was castrated to be a harem keeper. That's unity. Because even in the Old Testament it says men whose testicles were damaged or removed, or women who cannot have children, were not to participate in temple. So, yeah, tell me I'm wrong. And then back it up. Show me your verses. Because if you're coming up with verses that contradict this, you're not reading the real Bible. I'm sorry, I get really passionate about this stuff because I don't like people who are fake. And another issue to go with politicians, maybe just people in general, there was an old episode of The Simpsons where the Simpsons went to Japan. They found Homer's likeness on a box of Japanese dish soap. And apparently it was just a puffer fish and a light bulb put together, merged. Well, anyway, they were on a game show to get tickets back to America. And this always stood with me. You shouldn't reward intelligence. You should punish stupidity. That's always stuck with me. Maybe we should put these little, electrical collars on these dumbasses, especially Trump, Peter Thiel, and all of them. And every time they say or do something stupid, just turn it to max and just shock them until they shut up. Teach them by negative reinforcement, because apparently that's the only way people like that learn. Because you can never do anything good enough for someone like that, a narcissist, especially a malignant narcissist. So, if you're out there and you don't be mad at people who don't know and they do something stupid, like ignorant in that case. But if you have someone that knows that people should be making a living wage doing what they do, and they can't do anything else because they're not able to negotiate their wage, punch them for me. I'll do the same damn thing. Oh, this Chud the Builder person too. I had to say this is on my mind as well. Yeah, saying a racial slur is a hate crime. Plus, there's also laws, too, stating that if you incite an issue, whether you're using words or not, you cannot use, that's not grounds for armed self-defense because you're instigating a situation. So, take that into consideration. If you see this guy, just punch him, kill him, do whatever you want to do. I really don't care. I think, also brandishing a firearm is also a felony if you have it concealed and you conceal it, because that's actually technically a threat. And then as well, saying racial slurs is a federal hate crime. So saying racial slurs, instigating a situation so he can shoot you, yeah, that's a felony hate crime, yeah. And on top of brandishing a firearm. So, yeah, happy hunting, gentlemen. Neck beard out, guys. Have a good night.